Hello, good evening. So I went in for a different sort of a thing tonight because I got this text message on my phone where you get those. And it said that I have 3 days to upgrade my phone, or basically I my phone doesn't work anymore. And so I I called the number that they supplied. They said that they were it said other stuff too, like maybe I should just read the message. Yeah, it says final alert, which I didn't even realize that I had any other alerts, but this was the final one. It's the only message from this. But it says your outgoing calls will be redirected starting the 20th to assist with addressing your incompatible 3G device. So yeah, I I called. I called that. Oh, so that yeah, then it says critical account alert to continue service. You have one or more lines that will lose the ability to use data, send text messages, and make or receive calls on 5/31. The Sprint 3G network shutdown is underway, and you must take action before 5/31 to keep service. Call this number. Hey, Code. Hey, Cool Gamer. Welcome. So I called the number that they directed me to. Oh shoot! I better plug my phone in. Um, and I talked to a really nice man, and I asked him how I could keep my 3G service, and he said that I couldn't. And I said, so there's no way for me to like Crunchwrap Supreme. Cool, welcome in. Um there was no way for me to like just stick with the 3G because my phone is a freaking supercomputer. It's amazing. Like it takes still after all these years, like pristine photographs. It can do everything. It can do so much. I have no problems with it. It does more than I have ever even used it for. It is like the ultimate in capabilities, and I have no problems with it. I don't need a higher network. I don't understand why the networks are raising higher when I have all of this connectivity and capability to use. So what's up? I don't get it. Like I don't know what's happening. So I asked the guy, he said no, acro- all the networks of Sprint are going to be switched over by the end of the month, and basically my phone won't work. Okay, so even okay, that doesn't make sense to me. Why, if my lesser superiority phone now apparently to even keep the service of my phone or be ostracized from the community of being able to contact people with my phone, which partially sounds amazing and like bullshit. I mean, so that way, Saturnian, everyone, welcome. So I just so then he says that that's the end of the month and there's nothing that I can do about it if I want to keep my service. And then I said, okay, well, what are they selling, the company or something? Are they selling it somewhere else? Who's the company that has it? Where's the company that I need to go to keep, so that I can just stay with my low grade 3G that is so like inferior. I can't even get through my days with this stupid 3G. I don't even know how I survived, to be honest. 3G is so stupid. Like I mean, really, it's so insanely, it's like, it's so much that you can do. I mean, so he says that no, by the end of the year, all of the United States, every single network is going to be converted to 4 and 5G. And then in the next couple of years, he sees that it's going to go up to 6 and 7G. Heidi, welcome in. Awesome. So, I mean, why are they doing that? I don't understand, okay? I don't get it. What's the deal? Why are they doing that? And I don't understand. Does anybody understand? What are we trying to do? What do we need more? What more is it that we need with this connectivity speed? Is it not working out? Is it not enough that we can talk to anyone at anywhere in the world practically? That it's like difficult to find blackout zones? Or what are they called? White zones? I can't remember. So let's what do you guys think? What do you think about this? 5G is no better. Plus, I mean, like, then, okay, I started reading about what all that means, and I'm going to pull up some articles for us to go through together. And, like, I just, like, yeah, let's just talk about it. And okay, so let me just finish the phone call with the guy. The guy was so nice, and I got frustrated. I assured him that actually I realized that I was becoming frustrated. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I apologize. I want you to know that I'm not frustrated with you. I'm just frustrated in general. And he was very nice and totally understood. And then, like, he tried to, like, I said, okay, well, I needed to get off the phone with him because I felt like I was going to start crying like a baby who is just completely helpless and can't do anything. I got so upset. I mean, I kept it together and stuff, but I just don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, I don't walk around the world meeting people that are always talking about how, man, my days would be so much better if I had faster connectivity. I wish that someone in the world would do something about that. I mean, I am being forced. I feel like I'm being forced. Like, this guy says then, well, yes, I understand very much what you're saying, even though he doesn't really give me any information about why it's happening. I mean, but what I'm sure that he knows. They tell him all that stuff, right? But he tried to get me to, like, well, I'll give you my connection. So that I can help you transfer your service over to this 4 or 5G. And I was like trying to keep my voice all like even because I'm like feeling overwhelming emotions at the time. I'm so silly. And, like, I was like, no, honestly, man, I don't really know if I'm going to be ready to switch my service over in an hour and 2 days. So, I mean, like, can't I just call back and talk to someone else? And he was just like, he seemed so bummed that I was taking away his opportunity to upgrade my phone to 5G. Anyways. Oh, it is a weapon. That's the thing. So I started doing some reading and shit. Gosh, it sounds just terrible. It sounds just terrible. Oh my gosh. So let's read about it. Let's read about it, you guys. Let's find out about 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and then what that entails. Really, I mean, we have all this technology that we're, taking advantage of. Or are we? Is it taking advantage of us? I mean, our whole society has changed, and that happens, right? But who are the ones that are deciding that we need all this faster internet? It's not like I don't know. It's something that's a part of my daily life as a communication thing, and it's like I have no say. I can't just keep my stupid 3G. I can't just keep this piddly service that I can basically do nothing in the world with stupid 3G. It's so silly. I don't understand. So Brenda, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Crunchwrap, are you Crunchy Bee? Okay, awesome. Dude, when I see your name, it makes me think of Tenacious D. Burrito Supreme and a Chicken Supreme. Okay, so yeah. Let's learn about some 5G and stuff. Okay. So, right. Let's see which no, not that. So this one, 5G, is this the one? No. This one, which I couldn't even find an author on this netinformations.com article that I started skimming through. I haven't read all of these articles. I just skimmed them. So let's see here. Share a screen. Boop. Share screen. And then Chrome tab. What are the differences between 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G? A share. Okay. Now, back to this. Oh, you know what? I'm going to stay on this one and put my glasses on and make it all easier for me to see everything. Blue blockers. So let's check this out. Simply, the G stands for generation. While you connect to the internet, the speed of your internet is dependable upon the signal strength that has been shown in alphabets like 2G, 3G, 4G, etc., right next to the signal bar on your home screen. Each generation is defined as a set of telephone network standards which detail the technological implementation of a particular mobile phone system. The speed increases, and the technology used to achieve that speed also changes. For example, 1G offers 2.4 kilobytes per second. 2G offers 64 kilobytes per second and is based on GSM. What's GSM? 3G offers 144 kilobytes per second, and that's 2 megabytes per second, whereas 4G offers 100 megabytes per second, 1 gigabyte per second, and is based on LTE technology. WiMAX, MIMO, millimeter waves, microwaves. The aim of wireless communication is to provide high quality, reliable communication, just like wired communication or optical fiber. And each new generation of services represents a big step, a leap rather, in that direction. This evolution journey was started in 1979 from 1G and is still continuing to 5G and actually beyond, right? What? Each of the generations has standards that must be met to officially use the G terminology for generation. There are institutions in charge of what institutions? There are institutions in charge of standardizing each generation of mobile technology. Each generation has requirements that specify things like throughput, delay, etc., that need to be met to be considered part of that generation. Each generation built upon the research and development which happened since the last generation. 1G was not used to identify wireless technology until 2G, or the second generation was released. That was a major jump in the technology when the wireless networks went from analog to digital. Okay, 1G, first generation. This was the first generation of, man, it's hard for me to say that word. Let's get some liquid. Dang, I wish I could see what you guys are saying too. But I won't be able to scroll on this page if I'm there too. Okay, this was the first generation of cell phone technology. The very first generation of commercial cellular network was introduced in the late 70s with fully implemented standards being established throughout the 80s. It was introduced in 1978 by Telecom, known today as Telstra. Australia received its first cellular mobile phone network utilizing the 1G analog system. 1G is an analog technology, and the phones generally had poor battery life and voice quality was large without much security and would sometimes experience dropped calls. These are the analog telecommunication standards that were introduced in the 1980s and continued until being replaced by 2G digital communications. The maximum speed of 1G is 2.4 kilobytes per second. I think that's what that means. 2G, second generation. Cell phones received their first major upgrade when they went from 1G to 2G. The main difference between the two mobile telephone systems, 1G and 2G, is that the radio signals used by 1G network are analog, while 2G networks are digital. Main motive of this generation was to provide secure and reliable communication channel. It implemented the concept of CDMA and GSM, provided small data service like SMS and MMS. Second generation 2G cellular telecom networks were commercially launched on the GSM standard in Finland by Radio Linja, now part of Elisa Oij. In 1991, 2G capabilities are achieved by allowing multiple users on a single channel via multiplexing. During 2G cellular phones are used for data also along with voice. The advance in technology from 1G to 2G introduced many of the fundamental services that we still use today, such as SMS, internet roaming, conference calls, call hold, and billing based on services like charges based on long distance calls and real-time billing. The max speed of 2G with general packet radio service, GPRS, is 50 kilobytes or 1 megabyte. Yeah, maybe megabyte per second, with enhanced data rates for GSM evolution. Edge. Enhanced data rates for evolution. Before making the major leap from 2G to 3G wireless networks, the lesser known 2.5G and 2.75G was an interim standard that bridged the gap. 3G, third generation. This is where I've been living, for a long time. This generation set the standard for most of the wireless technology we have come to know and love. Web browsing, email, video downloading, picture sharing, and other smartphone technology were introduced in the third generation. Introduced commercially in 2001, the goal set out for third generation mobile communications were to facilitate greater voice and data capacity, support a wider range of applications, and increase data transmission at a lower cost. The 3G standard utilizes a new technology called UMTS as its core network architecture, Universal Mobile Telecommunications Systems, UMTS. This network combines aspects of the 2G network with some new technology. Oh, that came. I should have watched what I was doing. So I don't need that much. I guess I'm just going to have really glossy lips. Oh, no. I can't. Raw. Just like Vaseline it up. Gotta wipe my fingers off. So, okay. That's a lot. Okay. This network, lower cost. The 3G standard utilizes, the UMTS. Okay. This network combines aspects of the 2G network with some new technology and protocols to deliver a significantly faster data rate. Based on a set of standards used for mobile devices and mobile telecommunications, use services and networks that comply with the International Mobile Telecommunications 2000, IMT 2000, specifications by the International Telecommunication Union. One of requirements set by IMT 2000 was that speed should be at least 200 kilobytes per second to call it at least 3G service. 3G has multimedia services support along with streaming are more popular. In 3G, universal access and portability across different device types are made possible, telephones, PDAs, etc. 3G increased the efficiency of frequency spectrum by improving how audio is compressed during a call, so more simultaneous calls can happen in the same frequency range. The UN's International Telecommunications Union IMT 2000 standard requires stationary speeds of 2 megabytes per second and mobile speeds of 384 kilobytes per second for a true 3G. The theoretical max speed for HSPA plus is 21.6 megabytes per second. Like 2G, 3G evolved into 3.5G and 3.75G as more features were introduced in order to bring about 4G. A 3G phone cannot communicate through a 4G network. Porque! But newer generations of phones are practically always designed to be backward compatible, so a 4G phone can communicate through a 3G or even 2G network. What? I gotta check in real quick. I gotta check in to see what you guys are saying. Hey, that way, Emoji King! Awesome! Dude. Okay, so you guys think that 5G sounds super cool too. What the heck? All right, 4G, the fourth kind. Let's find out. 4G is a very different technology as compared to 3G and was made possible practically only because of the advancements in the technology in the last 10 years. Its purpose is to provide high speed, high quality, and high capacity to users while improving security and lower the cost of voice and data services, multimedia, and internet over IP. Potential and current applications include amended mobile web access, IP telephony, okay. Gaming services, high definition mobile TV, video conferencing, TV television, and cloud computing. I feel it. I can do all of that already. I can do all of that already on 3G, right? Yeah, because I do. And it's a lot, right? It seems like, I mean, like, that seems pretty, like, awesomely, like, so capably a lot. It's nuts. It fits in your pocket. You know what I'm saying here? It's magic. The key technologies that have made this possible are MIMO, multiple input, multiple output, and OFDM, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. Ortho? Wait. Is ortho foot or mouth? Did I just insert? Okay. So, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. The two important 4G standards are a WiMAX, as now fizzled out, and LTE, has seen widespread deployment. LTE, or long-term evolution, is a series of upgrades to existing UMPS technology and will be rolled out on Telstra's existing 1800 megahertz frequency band. The max speed of a 4G network when the device is moving is 100 megabytes per second or 1 gigabyte per second for low mobility communication like when stationary or walking. Latency reduced from around 300 milliseconds to less than 100, maybe milliseconds, and significantly lower congestion. When 4G first became available, it was simply a little faster than 3G. 4G is not the same as 4G LTE, which is very close to meeting the criteria of the standards. To download a new game or stream a TV show in HD, you can do it without buffering. Newer generations of phones. I mean, does anybody remember that whole noise with the dial-up? I mean, come on. I mean, what are the pros and cons that we're weighing here? What are we really adding to our lives by being forced to upgrade your phone if you want to be able to call your mom? Like, I want to get a landline. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. But gosh, right? All of the connectivity of all the things. Okay. I'm a little upset. I'm a little angry, I guess. You know? Whew, and what good does it do me? Right? That's where my thoughts went after I got so emotional after getting off the phone with that guy. What a good is this? I mean, like things are here until you don't need them because I was like, oh, I feel like the tide of technology is just like, I feel like a little octopus on the bottom of the ocean, just clinging for life. Not in all areas, but maybe technology. So, newer generations of phones are usually designed to be backward compatible, so a 4G phone can communicate through a 3G or even 2G network. All carriers seem to agree that OFDM is one of the chief indicators that a service can be legitimately marked as being 4G. OFDM is a type of digital modulation in which a signal is split into several narrowband channels at different frequencies. There are a significant amount of infrastructure changes needed to be implemented by service providers in order to supply, because voice calls in GSM, UMPS, and CDMA 2000 are circuit switched. So, with the adoption of LTE, carriers will have to re engineer their voice call network. And again, we have the fractional parts 4.5G and 4.9G marking the transition of LTE and the stage called LTE Advanced Pro, getting us more MIMO, more D to D on the way to IMT 2020 and the requirements of 5G. Man, doesn't it sound like I live in the future? Beep, boop, 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 beep. 5G, fifth generation. 4 and 5G. What? I even said to that guy, my phone does everything I need. He was like, yes, you have a really nice phone. And I was like, yes, I do. I paid a lot of money for it. What? Whew. 5G is a generation currently under development. That's intended to improve on 4G. 5G promises significantly faster data rates, higher connection density, much lower latency, among other improvements. Some of the plans for 5G include world domination. That's not what it says. Device-to-device communication, better battery consumption, and improved overall wireless coverage. The max speed of 5G is aimed at being as fast as 35.46 gigabytes per second, which is over 35 times faster than 4G. I mean, doesn't feel like that can be really that good for our bodies. I mean, I don't know. Key technologies to look out for: massive MIMO, millimeter wave mobile communications, etc. Massive MIMO, millimeter wave small cells. Li-Fi, all the new technologies from the previous decade, could be used to give 10 gigabytes to a user with an unseen low latency and allow connections for at least 100 billion devices. I mean, it feels like that Orson Scott Card novel, man. Different estimations have been made for the date of commercial introduction of 5G networks. Next Generation Mobile Networks Alliance feel that 5G should be rolled out by 2020 to meet business and consumer demands. What? I've never seen anybody start a rally because they don't have fast enough internet. You guys see people march in the streets about that bullshit? Who can even live? Seriously. So, I mean, okay. So then I went to learn more about 5G. Let me come back and see where we're at here with y'all's. The split. Some will go natural, some will go right. It's like, is that what it is? The split. I don't know, right? I just don't. The idea of lack. I don't know about all that. I mean, okay, so I'm going to share a different screen here now. Let's see here. Stop screen. Let's get into this other. I have a couple of other articles. Hey, welcome in, Trace. Welcome everyone. This is so cool. Yeah, I'm just like, it's okay that I'm irritated. It's an okay emotion to be irritated. Right? I'm so irritated. I really like talking with you guys and being a part of all this, you know? It's working really good just like this, you know? It's like amazing, don't you think? Okay. So, oh, I almost left the studio. That's not what I want. Share screen. Share screen. Okay, Chrome tab. 5G base stations use a lot more energy than 4G base stations. A share. So then I wanted to learn about like the consumption of energy and how these 5G things really work and what are they actually putting out? Like, because we were just learning about the biofields and our energies and all of that stuff, but what is this stuff pumping out into all of this fluid air space that we are in, you know? I mean, they're going from place to place. They're traveling. They're around us. We are surrounded, right? So what's happening? What's happening? Why are these phones working? What kind of energy and electromagnetic waves are we putting out here that then are receiving? And we are also broadcasters. We're electromagnetic broadcasters, our human bodies. So what is it that what's going on here, right? That's what I want to know. Okay. So what is FR2 over the air? Versatile 5G FR2 over the air antenna characterization at your benchtop. Oh, it's I think it's I think that's an ad. I think. Is it the title? Oh yeah, okay, no, it is. I found it. 5G base stations use a lot more energy than 4G base stations. MTN. Should I just say mountain? Okay. A typical 5G base station consumes up to twice or more the power of a 4G base station. Pixabay. Carriers have been... Is this shared correctly? Yeah. Okay, cool. Mr. Hugh! Awesome! We're here. Okay. So carriers have been looking at energy efficiency for a few years now, but 5G will bring this to top of mind because it's going to use more energy than 4G. Telcos spend on average 5% to 6% of their operating expenses, excluding depreciation and amortization. I don't know what that means. We're going to have to look it up. Amortization on energy costs. Easy for me to say, according to MTN Consulting. And this is expected to rise with the shift of 5Gs. So what's amortization? Excluding depreciation. Do you guys know what amortization is? I'm coming back. Anybody? AF! Yay! Okay, so I'm just going to go over to this other screen and look up amortization real quick. Amortization calculator. Oh. Oops. Sean, definition. Thank you. Let's see.
Amortization.
The action or process of gradually writing off the initial costs of an asset. What? Okay. The action or process of reducing or paying off a debt with regular payments. Okay, so the action or process of gradually writing off the initial costs of an asset. Due to the amortization,
Amortization.
amortization, due to the amortization of initial costs, the risks of negative working capital are mitigated. Amor.
Amortization.
Damn it. Amortization. Okay, back to the article. Excluding depreciation and amortization. I don't know if I said it right. On energy costs, according to MTN Consulting. And this is expected to rise with the shift to 5G. A typical 5G base station consumes up to twice or more the power of a 4G base station, writes MTN Consulting Chief Analyst Matt Walker in a new report entitled Operators Facing Power Cost Crunch. The energy costs can grow even more at higher frequencies due to a need for more antennas and a denser layer of small cells. Edge compute facilities need to support local processing and new Internet of Things, IoT. Services will also add to overall network power usage. Exact estimates offer mother of pearls. Exact estimates differ by source, but MTN says the industry consensus is that 5G will double to triple energy consumption for mobile operators once networks scale. What? Warnings of more power consumption are coming from some Chinese operators that are leading the world in 5G deployments. In November 2019, China Mobile EVP Li Zhengmao said that its electricity costs were rising fast with 5G. China Mobile has tried using lower cost deployments of MIMO antennas, specifically 32T, 32R, and sometimes 8T, 8R rather than 64T, 64R, according to MTN. However, Lee says 5G base stations are carrying 5 times the traffic as when equipped with only 4G, pushing up power consumption. The carrier is seeking subsidies from the Chinese government to help with the increased energy usage. According to Huawei data on RRU/BBU needs per site, the typical 5G site has power needs of over 11.5 kilowatts, up nearly 70% from a base station deploying a mix of 2G, 3G, and 4G radios. 5G macro base stations may require several low, power-hungry components, including microwave or millimeter wave transceivers. Field Programmable Data Arrays, or FPGAs, faster data converters, high power, low noise amplifiers, and integrated MIMO antennas. The increased power demands of a 5G site can create several problems: insufficient AC power supply, insufficient battery capacity, more backup battery capacity is needed, yet traditional lead acid batteries have low energy density and their capacities are difficult to expand, unable to support high power long distance transmission. In 5G scenarios requiring high power supply to remote AAUs, the voltage drop required means that transmission distance is limited. What? Okay. In addition to using more energy in the 5G RAN, carriers are also deploying edge computing resources to support such things as low latency applications and IoT services. Schneider Electric predicts that with 5G, the power distribution will require hundreds of thousands or even millions of micro data centers globally, according to MTN. Powering these sites will add to the telco utility bill and add a layer of complexity to network operations as edge power costs need to be minimized. While the Chinese mobile operators may be a bit ahead of others in terms of 5G rollouts and lessons about energy efficiency, other operators are already thinking about utility bills as well. In March, AT&T COO, does that mean like a CO? I don't know. John Stanky. Sorry, John. It's probably Stanky. John Stanky. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it, man. I bet you got that your whole life. Said that as part of an overall company effort to reduce costs, AT&T is looking at opportunities to take advantage of different architectures to lower energy costs. The bottom line is that in an increasingly 5G world, telcos will face significant growth in their energy bills, writes MTN Consulting. To address this issues, telcos will need to take actions at the organizational, architectural, and site levels. I'm sure that won't find its way to us, though, right? Shit rolls uphill. Oh, so right, let's learn a little bit about millimeter and microwaves, since these 5G networks need transducers for those things, or what are the transducers, right? Okay, coming back here to see what's shaking over. Dang, dude. Hey, Jackie, welcome in. Jenny, dude, so cool. So I found this this other article. So let's get out of here. Let's stop screen. Now, this next article I found is from a medical, what was it? Scientific American. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. Let's see here. This one is National Library of Medicine, NIH, pubmed.gov. Okay. So, NIH. Now, back to this so I know which one I'm going for. Let's share. Screen. Chrome tab. Millimeter, wave, and microwave frequency. Share. Okay. And you know what, too? I'm just gonna, one sec. I'm gonna cough for just a second here. Un momento. Okay, we'll see if that helped. Okay, so let's read this article, okay? Millimeter wave and microwave frequency radiation produce deeply penetrating effects, the biology and the physics. Martin L. Paul. I almost said, anyways, yeah, P. Hall, because I just finished that Manly P. Hall book. Okay. Abstract. Millimeter wave, electromagnetic fields, or EMFs, or MM waves, respectively, are predicted to not produce penetrating effects in the body. The electric but not magnetic part of EMFs are almost completely absorbed within the outer 1 millimeter of the body. Rodents are reported to have penetrating millimeter wave impacts on the brain, the mitochondrium, liver, kidney, and bone marrow. Millimeter waves produce electromagnetic sensitivity like changes in rodent, frog, and skate tissues. In humans, millimeter waves have penetrating effects, including impacts on the brain, producing EEG changes and other neuropsychiatric changes. Producing electroencephalogram. Is that what that EEG is? Changes in other neuropsychiatric changes. Increases in apparent electromagnetic hypersensitivity increases in apparent electromagnetic hypersensitivity and produce changes on ulcers and cardiac activity. Heart activity, eh? This review focuses on several issues required to understand penetrating effects of millimeter waves and microwaves. 1. electronically generated EMFs are coherent, producing much higher electrical and magnetic forces than do natural incoherent EMFs. I wonder what natural incoherent ones are. How are they made? From our hearts? 2. The fixed relationship between electrical and magnetic fields found in EMFs in a vacuum or highly permeable medium such as air, predicted by Maxwell's equation, breaks down in other materials. Specifically, millimeter wave electrical fields are almost completely absorbed in the outer 1 millimeter of the body due to the high dielectric constant of biological aqueous phases. I just learned what dielectric means. So it will pulse out, but it's still grounding. Like it'll pulse something out, but it won't absorb. I think that's what dielectric means. It's like insulated, but it still is the point, right? So, okay, where's that word at again? Dielectric, mother of pearls. I don't see it. Electrical fields must come out of absorb. EMS, no. Hey, where is it? Dielectric, found ya. Okay, dielectric constant. Okay. However, the magnetic fields are very highly penetrating. 3. Time-varying magnetic fields have central roles in producing highly penetrating effects. The primary mechanism of EMF action is voltage-gated calcium channel, which is happening like all the time inside of us, VGCC activation, with the EMFs acting via their forces on the voltage sensor, rather than by depolarization of the plasma membrane. 2 distinct mechanisms, an indirect and a direct mechanism, are consistent with and predicted by the physics to explain penetrating millimeter wave or VGCC activation via the voltage sensor. I'm starting to be confused. Time-varying coherent magnetic fields, as predicted by the Maxwell-Faraday Faraday cage version of Faraday's law of induction, can put forces on ions dissolved in aqueous phases deep within the body, regenerating coherent electric fields which activate the VGCC voltage sensor. In addition, time-varying magnetic fields can directly put forces on the 20 charges of the VGCC voltage sensor. There are 3 very important findings here, which are rarely recognized in the EMF scientific literature. Coherence of electronically generated EMFs, the key role of time-varying magnetic fields in generating highly penetrating effects, the key role of both modulating and pure EMF pulses in greatly increasing very short-term high-level variation of magnetic and electric fields. So we're talking about crazy electric and magnetic fields here that go right into our bodies. And why wouldn't they, right? It is probable that genuine safety guidelines must keep nanosecond timescale variation of coherent electric and magnetic fields below some maximum level in order to produce genuine safety. These findings have important implications within regard to 5G radiation. Yeah, man. 5G modulating pulses, EMF, pathophysiological and therapeutic effects, coherent electronically generated EMFs. Okay, these are just keywords. Yeah, they're not good for us, is my takeaway. They're pretty not so good for us, right? Like, I don't know about all that. So, what's the step? What's the thing to do? I mean, what do you guys think about all of that? I mean, if we buy the products, then they keep, I mean, It's like this hive mind thing, which I totally looked up an article on that, which I might read. Like, oh, nature is love, and it does work in such mysterious ways. Man. And then what are these next? I mean, these next networks after this? Does anybody, what do you guys, what are the, what's the step? What do we do? What's the thing to do? You just say no more? Like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm no more partaking in that. I just read my encyclopedias now. I don't. What are the, I don't know the steps forward, right? Right. I'm happy with the trees too. So happy. That was, I said, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like a necessity how you have to have these gadgets or you can't communicate. That's what I'm saying. Like, what? We just have to, I don't think that that's like, why should that have to be the way that we can't have communication? And I still really love living with nature and being a part of that lifestyle. But it's like, I still want to be able to, talk to my friends in the UK and my friends in Australia and, my friends all over the world and my friends, just in the town across the way. You know what I mean? Like, what? Can I do that with a, I wonder. I don't know. My computer, does my computer have to use 5G? It goes through it. Like, what? I've always wanted the landline, like, real bad. So, should I read that article about hive minds? I don't know. Let's see what it says. Let me just take a glimmer here, or a glance. How long is this article? It's not that long. Let's give it a read. It's entitled, You Have a Hive Mind. This is from Scientific American. There is a deep connection between the way your brain and a swarm of bees arrives at a decision. Let's share this. That's what we do now. Go inside yourself. Because that's the real broadcasting. I like that suggestion. That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, if I want to keep my phone, I have to upgrade. That's what they're saying. I was really stubborn about even upgrading it for like 2 years, man. Before. I just like went without being able to do a bunch of shit on my phone because I didn't want the upgrade. I don't want upgrades on my phone. Like, so that's what's the focus on the path forward, right? The going within. Yeah. Where's the 3G networks? Yeah. Okay. All right. Do I want to read this hive mind thing? What do you guys think? You want to listen to this hive mind article? All is information. We must have good discernment. Amen. Recreate the universal vibration. Feel it. Becomes it. Connect to it and listen. It is in us. I really felt that when I was reading that Journeys Out of Bodies today. It made me feel like, oh my gosh, like, whoa, right? Yeah. Oh my gosh, 313. I keep seeing that, by the way. I had never seen the 313, but this whole week. Yeah. Who's standing in those lines? Nope, I don't know him. I don't know him. Yeah. Dang. Thanks. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you. Hmm. I'm gonna read the Hive. I'm gonna read the Hive Mind article. Chrome tab. Share. Okay. Mind and brain. You have a hive mind. There is a deep connection between the way your brain and a swarm of bees arrives at a decision. By Jason Castro on March 1st, 2012. Wow, cool. 2012. Every decision you make is essentially a committee act. Members chime in, options are weighed, and eventually a single proposal for action is approved by consensus. The committee, of course, is the densely knit society of neurons in your head. And approved by consensus is really just a delicate way of saying that the opposition was silenced. Our brain seems to work not by generating only correct actions and executing them in serial, but rather by representing many possibilities in parallel, all suppressing all but one. When this inhibitory action is lost, as happens in people with frontal lobe damage, these multiple possibilities become a burden and can lead to so called utilization behaviors. Such impaired individuals will indiscriminately reach for objects placed in front of them, a hairbrush or a hammer, for example, and use them even in inappropriate contexts. In essence, despite our feeling that we are singular, unified agents, we are more like hive minds unto ourselves, our brains abuzz with multiple, often conflicting plans and interests that must be managed. To Dr. Thomas Seeley, a professor of neurobiology at Cornell University, the hive mind is more than just a metaphor. In a recent paper in Science, Seeley and his colleagues describe a potential deep parallel between how brains and bee swarms come to a decision. With no central planner or decipher, both brains and beehives can resolve their inner differences to commit to single courses of action. To watch a group of bees is to see a frenzy of different interests coalesce into a single clear thought. This is analogous to neurons in the brain, which must reach a consensus on how to achieve a behavioral goal by positioning the body in space. Bees in a hive must do something similar when deciding where to move the superorganism that is the swarm. Failing to move the swarm as a single, committed unit risks splitting up the hive and losing the queen. Similarly, making a poor move could expose the hive to predators and or extreme temperatures. Like many other decision makers, the hive's first order of business before making a springtime move is to consider the various possibilities. Toward this end, several groups of scouts are sent off to search for a suitable new hive. When the scouts return, they each advocate for preferred new sites, often different ones, by performing the famed waggle dance, a figure eight series of movements that tells other bees the direction and distance to a potential new site. These dances recruit other uncommitted bees in the hive to also advocate for the advertised site. For a while, many scientists thought that this strategy of steadily accumulating votes for a particular location was sufficient to explain the hive's eventual decision. Others, including Seeley and his colleagues, were not satisfied. What happens in cases where similarly sized groups of bees are advocating for different locations? Wouldn't this be a formula for deadlock? My handprint. Seeley suspected that the answer had to do with a headbutting move bees make. To explore this idea, he and his team first set up swarms on an island lacking natural nests and gave scouts a choice between two identical artificial nesting boxes. Scouts that visited one site were marked with yellow paint, while scouts visiting the other site were marked with pink paint. By tagging these two different populations, Seeley and colleagues had, in a sense, labeled two competing ideas, which they could then watch unfold and interact back in the collective hive mind. The researchers found that the yellow and pink painted scouts displayed waggle dances advertising for their respective nests. In addition, however, the scouts were also seen to make brief buzzing headbutts to one another's head and thorax. Dancing bees tended to receive headbutts toward the end of their dances, suggesting that the headbutts were a signal to stop dancing. The most interesting finding came when looking at who was headbutting whom. Yellow marked bees tended to receive these putative stop signals from pink marked bees, and vice versa. In other words, the two different populations were mutually inhibiting one another, one proposal pitted against another. The result of this arrangement is that it amplifies small differences between different populations of scouts, setting up a kind of winner take all scenario. Without inhibitory stop signals, the hive would be able to sustain multiple competing interests as different groups of scouts accumulate more and more votes until the hive reaches some stable but divided state. With stop signals, divided hive states are far less stable. A slight preponderance of one group of scouts will translate into greater inhibition of other groups of scouts, turning an initially small numerical advantage into a more sizable one. Over several iterations of this process, an initial slight majority is amplified into a consensus. Ideally, a follow-up experiment would have eliminated the bee's stop signal and studied the consequences on the hive's decision process. Since this is nearly impossible to do, Seeley and his colleagues opted for a simulation-based approach instead. In their models of collective bee activity, cross-inhibitory stop signals were essential for breaking decision deadlocks between two equally attractive nests. If the stop signals were indiscriminate or absent altogether, the hive remained split and never converged on a consensus. Seeley and his team. Seeley and his team proposed that inhibition may be a general strategy for decision making, and indeed, their findings in bees recapitulate features of decision making and pattern formation in other systems. The remarkable unifying theme of all of these systems is how an aggregate swarm intelligence is built from just a few kinds of simple local interactions between agents. Both neurons in bees are presumably unaware of how their impulses and signals transcend the individual and lay the substrate for a grander collective intelligence. I don't know. Hive minds. This was more about the way our brains work, but I just like see so many parallels in the why we're making these decisions of what we're doing and how it's all changing, and then social media, how that all plays a role in this, the decisions we're making and the space where we live. So yeah, man, in Scotland in the 80s, a headbutt was give us a job. Wait, what? So I just say thank you for hanging out with me tonight. If you have any suggestions or ideas on, any more, feel free to comment or whatever you have to say about that. I don't know, like what's the I want I don't know, right? I want to know. I want to know, and what are the steps forward? Oh, I'm getting serious tinnitus right now. It's crazy. So yeah, thank you very much. And I will see you probably tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah! I appreciate you very much. And thanks for helping me be a lot less angry now. uh, thank you. I love yous. Soon.